What if I told you that one of the most powerful organizations on the planet is led by a couple of real-life villains who think you're nothing more than a hackable animal?
Humans are now hackable animals. The whole idea that humans have, they have this soul or spirit and they have free will. Whatever I choose, whether in the election or whether in the supermarket, this is my free will, that's over.
And he's the sidekick.
The future is not just happening. The future is built by us.
And boy, do they have one disturbing future planned for you. Now, of course, the organization I'm talking about is the World Economic Forum, and that was top advisor Yuval Noah Harari and the founder and executive chairman Klaus Schwab. Let's hear a little more about their dystopian vision for our future.
Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and you all will have implants. And we measure your brain waves. It's a fusion of the physical, the digital, and the biological world.
By hacking organisms, elites may gain the power to re-engineer the future of life itself.
Now, what they're preparing us for there is called transhumanism. That's basically the merging of our biological bodies with machines or technology. You can't make this shit up. Now, I know this concept has been around, but what's fascinating to me is that they really believe that we are at the beginning of a revolution where this merge is about to take place.
Science is replacing evolution by natural selection with evolution by intelligent design. Not the intelligent design of some god above the clouds, but our intelligent design and the intelligent design of our clouds. The IBM cloud, the Microsoft cloud, these are the new driving forces of evolution.
Now, will you have a choice in the matter? According to them, this revolution is happening, whether you like it or not.
That's really the essence of the fourth industrial revolution.
Okay, evidently we're in the middle of the fourth industrial revolution. Who knew? Your president.
The fourth industrial revolution has one big challenge. It is the holding out of the middle class, which is a pillar of our democracies.
Notice how Joe Biden is like casually nodding his head while Klaus talks about the hollowing out of the middle class. I don't recall seeing that in last night's State of the Union address. Anyway.
Diversity fosters new ideas. New ideas generate the experimentation needed to make the most of the fourth industrial revolution.
Did he just say most? Anyway, looks like Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is also aware of this revolution that's underway. Were you aware? Why hasn't our corporate-owned mainstream media been talking about this? Why don't our elected leaders mention this when they're addressing you and me? Why? Because that's the adults talking, and they don't see you as a stakeholder at their table. Now, am I saying they think of us as children? It's actually much worse. We're hackable animals. Who else could be under the influence of these transhumanists?
The holidays are a great time to read new books. Here's a few of my favorites. Yuval Noah Harari's 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. He's a really strong thinker.
Was that a surprise at all? So how does this hacking work exactly?
Now, what do you need in order to hack a human being? You need two things. You need a lot of computing power, and you need a lot of data, especially biometric data. Not data about what I buy or where I go, but data about what is happening inside my body and inside my brain.
Now you might be thinking, whew, they need my biometric data. There's no way I'm giving them that. I wouldn't be so sure. Most of us are already giving away our behavioral data in exchange for free web services and applications. Google, Amazon, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, they're all collecting our data. Perhaps some healthcare perks would be offered. And of course, there's always the very real possibility that you won't have a choice. Imagine there's some future health crisis where the government requires your biometric data. From AmericanMilitaryNews.com, Pentagon develops implantable microchip to detect, well, I'll let you use your imagination. Department of Defense medical researchers have developed a microchip that can detect the illness after being inserted under an individual's skin. Another thing they'll need is a way to associate this vast data set with you. That's where the digital identity comes into play. This diagram from the World Economic Forum shows how your digital identity will be connected to every important service in your life. Starting to see how this will work? Talk about a totalitarian wet dream. Every human on the planet will be required to have a digital identity that's associated with their behavioral and biometric data and can be used to control access to every important service in their lives. Thinking about protesting that new government policy? According to them, they'll know before you do. Not so happy about your tax dollars going to fund that war? You might not have access to your bank account. If only that were the extent of their ambition.
Once you can hack something, you can usually also engineer it. And if indeed we succeed in hacking and engineering life, this will be not just the greatest revolution in the history of humanity. This will be the greatest revolution in biology since the very beginning of life 4 billion years ago.
Well, there you have it. Pretty terrifying stuff. Now, do I think Yuval and Klaus are the biggest threats to humanity? Unfortunately, not even close. They're part of a lobbying organization. And like all lobbying organizations, they represent people more powerful than themselves. Who are these people? And what kind of leverage do they have that will allow them to push this agenda on society? Now, mind you, this has been playing out in our world now for several years, maybe more. And I'm tempted to connect some more dots for you here, but I'm going to refrain. Instead, I'll ask that you go out there and view the world through this context for a bit. You know, like trying on a new pair of sunglasses with an unusual tint. And the context is this, that there's a network or cult of powerful elites who have ownership, control, or influence over many of our mega corporations, central banks, media conglomerates, governments, who push and advocate for a totalitarian transhumanist future. And if you notice anything interesting, come back to this video, leave a comment. I'd love to hear about it. If you've enjoyed this, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more. Go out there, check out the world through this lens, uncover these stories, share these stories, be the light that wrecks the shadows. See you soon.